But to see him at this price is a little weird after a good week. I completely agree. I mean, we're discounting a 2-time tour winner here after T14, and he's going to be available at like 175, 150 even. It was strange to see. I still don't get it. I'm sure he'll shoot 80 now. And
yeah, of course.
The books know something I don't, but that was my first reaction too. Wyndham Clark is another player I might end up hitting. I think he's closer to plus 20,000 or 200 to 1. But that was the other kind of young player that stood out. He's a really good, can get hot with the flat stick as well. So yeah, realistically, I'm not going to go crazy up here. I think we've seen, these leaderboards are going to be congested with quality players, probably mostly under 100 to 1. So Rogers stuck out, Champ stuck out, and like I said, Day at plus 1,000 or plus 10,000. I just couldn't resist.
Yeah, I understand. 2 more top 20 bets for me. Max Homa approaches looked really good last week. The putter just wasn't clicking. He's 5-1. And then Doc Redman, talk about approaches. His approaches were fire last week, and that's a couple weeks in a row. He's 8-1 on the top 20 market. So I like Doc Redman to maybe break through there. So if you aren't a member yet and you would like to have a chance of winning a free pass, head over to our Twitter page at Awesemo_com. And what we're doing is giving away 3 winners, and you're going to get your choice to either join the golf side, join the MMA side, or join the NASCAR side. All you got to do is like the pinned tweet and follow all of the handles that are in the tweet. So head on over our Twitter page to give us a chance. And of course, if you could like this video and let us know what you want to see more of or less of, we're always open to feedback. So thank you for that. So the last thing we're going to talk about today for about 10 minutes is we're going to go into the DraftKings and FanDuel pricing. Was out just about 4 hours ago. So these are our first reactions. My first question to you is, last week I saw a lot of first reactions on Twitter being, it was so soft pricing. This week, I think it's pretty fair. I tried to go and make a lineup like I made last week, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't get all 3 of the Poston, Hovland, Poulters anymore. So I think it's fair pricing. How about you?
Yeah, I think it's definitely tightened up a little bit. Not that last week was horrible, just it was what it was. I mean, you had to play that soft 8K range, but going down the same range now just doesn't have the same kind of pop. I mean, Woodland is there, who might be the play. I mean, that might be it, because he's price basically stayed the same. And, we've talked about, he's got kind of upside. Finau's there as well, if you're on that, although Finau has been kind of all short game so far. So, the real big bombers, DJ and Brooks, aren't available at that price anymore. I think that alone just changes stuff up. You've even got like the course history dudes in Watson and Casey above 8,500, which I think is good. Answer's price is way up. So, people can't just jump on him with the recency bias. You got to pay up. Above players you just normally would not see Abraham Answer above. So, yeah, no, I agree. I think this is good. I think it's going to force more players to go dipping into the value pool in the low 7K range, which, I always think is an advantage for people who do a little bit more research, because you'll be able to better identify those if you do research, whether it's high 6K or whatever. So I agree. A little bit tighter pricing, and I think it's I like it anyways.
Yeah, no, I do too. So let's talk about some bumps and dumps for a minute, some salary bumps to start off. Webb Simpson, $1,500 was priced there, obviously. Bubba Watson, $1,400. That one's a little interesting to me, and obviously correlating to his odds. He played okay. He had a good Sunday, -8. I think T maybe 40, maybe 50. Nothing great. He gets $1,400. Obviously, course history is huge here. That was the one that stuck out the most. Brooks obviously played great. He gets a $1,400 price bump as well. Sergio plus 1,200. Answer plus 1,000. DJ plus 900. All these definitely make tons of sense to me. And then Neiman up 500. Ches Reavie, though, again, course history angle showing up plus 500 from last week. Stuart Sink, did he play better last week than I thought? Because that's I know he's still below 7,000, but $500 extra. Carlos Ortiz had a chance on Sunday, so that one makes sense. But Stuart Sink and Bubba Watson, a little confusing to me. But maybe I'm happy about that, because if Bubba was below 8, he would have been 1,000,000% on.
Yeah, even Bubba like 81, 82, I think would have been pretty popular. So I do like that as well. I think it gives people who want to play him like a really good shot at getting him at just, fair ownership at the very least. If you want to go overweight Bubba, you don't have to go insane now. I feel like Sink has some sneaky course history at the Travelers, which maybe is contributing to that little bump. Ortiz makes sense. He's pretty solid. Neiman definitely made sense. Kind of like the answer after Colonial. He's bumped up in that range where he still should be a very popular pick. And then Answer is the interesting one because like he's just not a value anymore. But at the same time, you can't ignore someone who hit the ball that well last week. So I think Bubba and Answer are going to be really interesting plays up there in that range because some dudes actually did come down in that range too.
Yeah, a few of those guys, some JM look $1,000 cheaper. I mean, we talked about him at the top of the show. It's intriguing. Colin Morikawa down below 10,000 again. Intriguing price for me there. Shane Lowry, Luke Donald, not interested in. We don't even have to talk about them. They lost 700. But Xander Schauffele down 600 again, now coming back down to that value range where I like to go overweight. The one I wanted to ask you about, though, is when are we going to see Louis, smooth swinging Louis Oosthuizen pay off this ridiculously low salary, $7,200 for him this week. Crazy. It's just $600 cheaper.
I mean, he was in really good form at the beginning of 2020. Like he was almost winning overseas. He looked great. Then he came over here and he picked up a little injury. And he swung it off the tee well at Colonial. That's why I kind of gave him another shot last week in a lineup or two. But I mean, he did not get it going at all. I mean, he was terrible. So the thing with Louis is he waits till everyone is out on him. He literally will wait until everyone is out, and then he'll just pop
at 7,200,
and he'll start paying off. So, this price is ridiculous. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. He before this kind of two event missed cuts or this little streak he's on, which is T51 cut, T55 cut. I mean, he hadn't missed a cut in forever. Like he was really consistent. Actually, he outside of like a pre-event withdrawal or anything, he had become a really consistent play. So I don't know. My answer is I've seen this from him before. He'll probably get it together at some point. Don't ask me when. Could be this week. Could be like 2 months from now. He'll probably be at the next major. He'll probably just miscut, top 10 at the PGA or something. That's probably what he'll do.
That's what Louis does. He'll come second and be a bridesmaid yet again, which he has done in all 4 majors now, which is crazy. All right, so let's. We've got just a couple of minutes left, and before we move on, I want to give another shout out to SuperDraft, the sponsor of our show here. And as I mentioned at the top, if you're just joining us, use promo code Awesemo12. You are going to get a free $12 ticket with a new sign up and some free Awesemo bucks. 10 for 10. You deposit 10, you're going to get free 10, and if you deposit 100 or more, you're going to get a free 20. Also, this week, a nice little bonus: $25K guaranteed and $5K to first for the long drive contest. Which is the one I like to play in. So nice to see that price pool going up. Love to see some other competition getting in there. All right, so as we move down the list, I know we've talked about a lot of people above 8K already. So what I want to do is focus on the 7K section. Want to ask you about Brian Harman and Corey Connors. Both have kind of been circling the wagons. Connors, had definitely a chance over the weekend. Brian Harman came storming over the weekend yet again. What do you make of these guys? Do you expect their ownership to finally come, or do you still think they're going to be below 10%? And are they two people that you would be looking at in a cash setting, in a GPP setting, in any setting?
Yeah, so I feel like Connor's ownership is finally going to spike up here. And I feel like Harman probably with Kisner playing poorly now is probably going to spike up as well. I think people who played Kisner for course history purposes and stuff and course fit will just go to Harman, or even just go up to Poulter, right? So I think that Harman will come up a bit. I feel like Connors is the guy who's going to get the most ownership bump here. His salary is still cheap. People just love the fact, top 20 after top 20 and good ball striking, and they'll hear all that this week. I see Connors as kind of the chalk here again. Jason Day will probably garner a little bit of ownership just from his pedigree and his course history. But yeah, like cash game settings, stuff like that, I think most people will just gravitate towards Connors here, and either that or just go down lower to a guy like Keegan Bradley who's got good course history as well, or start taking shots with Dylan Fratelli or Dylan Fratelli or like even Oosthuizen as just from a pure pedigree thing.
Yeah, and you mentioned Keegan Bradley, the local favorite. He's a New England guy, so he's always got that support. He was definitely being pulled for last year, as was Zach Suter. So, All right. I think it's just about time that we get out of here. I did want to mention, though, FanDuel, they came out with their pricing like literally right before we came on here. One thing I did notice was that Rory and Bryson seem like they're a little bit better values on FanDuel than they are DraftKings this week. Justin Thomas is the highest priced guy on FanDuel. So if you're looking to play all of them and play on both sites, look to maybe take advantage of two ways you can do this. One, if you want to take advantage of the salary, go to DraftKings for Justin Thomas and go to Rory McIlroy and Bryson DeChambeau on FanDuel. If you want to play the ownership angle, though, flop those. Go to Justin Thomas on FanDuel. He likely will be lower owned because he's a higher priced. And go to Rory McIlroy on DraftKings for that exact same reason. So before we get out of here, it wouldn't be a show if we didn't talk about Champions Tour eligible Phil Mickelson making his first start, or we'll call it second start since turning 50. Do you think because the fairways are so easy, we'll get to see crazy Phil make the weekend? That's how I'm going to leave this show.
I'm going to say, yeah, he does make the weekend here. I do feel like this is a course where he can just get it out there. You know, he's 50 now. He'll have something to prove, Jason. I like that call. I mean, he's under 7K too now. I mean, so, you know, he's actually.
It's actually not a bad play.
He's playable. I mean, he's playable at 6,900. So I'm going to say yes.
So, yeah. We know he makes birdies. And if he does make the cut, you're likely to see him on featured groups on Saturday and probably on Sunday. You know, hopefully not in the morning, hopefully in the afternoon, obviously. But I just wanted to bring up Phil. He is below 7,000 for the first time in a very, very long time. And of course, maybe that he can find some fairways. So, Geoff, thanks for joining. If you are searching or looking for more, especially on the DFS strategy side, Timothy Frank and Ben Raza back from vacation will be on the airwaves, I believe, tomorrow at 2:30 to catch them. And of course, Ben and I are on the airwaves on Wednesday at 8:30 for the Live Before Lock. So until then, find more of Geoff's content at Fantasy Grind on Twitter. And of course, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, find us in the Slack chat. But until next time, everybody, thanks for joining, and we'll see you on the other side.